Hi and welcome to Nature Ambience. Today we will be starting our series on ecology where we give a brief introduction into its concepts. Let's start off with the actual definition. Ecology is the scientific study of interactions between living things and their environments. For instance, picture a seed that grows into a plant. You might imagine something like this. But in real life, that is not the case. For instance, there's the sun, the sky, the soil, nutrients being cycled, worms, you name it. There are so many more factors to consider, and this points out the interconnectedness in nature. For example, you might put fertilizer in your lawn, but that fertilizer doesn't just stay there. For instance, maybe the rain will come and wash it away into the ocean, and then there will be so many more effects that happen because of that. So ecology forces us to think more about the bigger picture. This is especially very relevant to us because we humans, we often will change stuff in nature, and we should probably think about the effects that our actions have because they can often be detrimental. But anyhow, moving on, let's go into some broad categories of interaction, competition being one of the mainest ones. Interspecific competition is that between different species, and interspecific would be that between the same species. Now there is one main factor that causes competition, and that's called competitive exclusion. This is where limited resources could lead to an exclusion of a species or individuals. Imagine the grocery store. Many of us will go there to buy food so that we can survive. Now, imagine that the stock kind of runs out, which often happens in real life. Like, the grass might use up all of the nutrients in the soil, and those nutrients don't just pop up immediately. They need some time to actually cycle through and be able for uptake again. So, again, back to the supermarket. The stock is not going to be resupplied, and all of us still need to go get that food. So then some who are not as competitive will probably be excluded. So this kind of illustrates this concept. But also, nature has thought up of a solution, and that is called resource partitioning. And this is where the different species will just split up those limited resources. Next, let's go into levels of ecology. An individual would just be one of a species, like one human. A population would just be a group of individuals, and they are all of the same species. But a community would just be different populations combined. So this could be like humans, cats, trees, just different groups of different species interacting with each other. Ecosystem would just be a community, but plus abiotic factors. Now, biotic factors mean living, and abiotic factors are non-living. So some examples could be like stones, rain, temperature, you name it. Let us know in the comments of anything else you can think of. Now, a biome would just be like an area like a desert or a rainforest, and it has specific characteristics. And a biosphere is just anywhere that living takes place. So basically, our whole entire Earth. One thing that might help you remember these levels is IPCEB. And I don't know, just think of anything that will help you remember this. And just to know, this is not like biology class. Sometimes you might start off with like cell or organelle, organism, but in ecology, we focus more on interactions, not detailed stuff that they cover in biology. Just to know. Next, let's go into common types of species interactions. First is neutral, where there are no interactions or effects. This could be like two humans. Maybe we get along with each other, but we don't benefit or harm each other. And commensalism is where one benefits, but one is not affected. So this could be like a bird who lands on a tree for a few seconds, where the bird it gets a resting place and the tree really isn't affected. If we, of course, don't consider guano that might happen and fertilize the tree. Next would be mutualism, where both are benefited. For instance, bees and flowers. Bees, they get the honey, and flowers, they get their pollen spread so that they can reproduce. Parasitism is where one benefits and one is harmed. For instance, a mosquito. Like, it will get your blood, so it totally benefits, but then you'll probably have a swollen area for quite some time. And one really easy way to remember this is just looking at name, parasitism. Just think of parasite. Next would be predation, where one benefits and one is harmed. It's the same exact thing, but often the one that is harmed is killed. So think of predator and prey. And that wraps up our first session into ecology. Thanks for watching and see you next time.